Chelsea Football Club most probably are rubbing their hands at this moment. Two massive rule changes for the Premier League. One regarding the financial standpoint, meaning there could be a way out for Chelsea again. Who would have thought so? After all those articles, Chelsea in trouble, Chelsea will liquidate, Chelsea about to get a sanction. It looks like Chelsea might be avoiding the problems. Then there's the more interesting news that all of us football fans like. Well, Ivan Toney is available for 30 to 40 million pounds. Yes, 30 to 40. I'll break it down, tell you the source, and I'll tell you why I think that's not true. Amorim has come out and denied ever meeting Liverpool. He basically had a rant, and I've got it covered. And finally, Vieira, Santos, and Angelo from Strasbourg are talking about the future of Chelsea young stars, and we're going to break it down. It's actually really interesting to see, and it also gives us an insight on what happens when players go on loan and why I was so hesitant about loaning Santos to Strasbourg, and because of this particular reason. So before we get started, I need every single one of you right now, right? Hit that like button. It's the easiest way, best way you can support the channel. I want 1,000 likes. Can we hit that? And in the comments below, let me know what number like you are, because then I'll know you're a top G, and when you actually write a comment, I'll most probably reply to you, because you guys get the privilege of actually supporting the channel. Thank you. And secondly, you clearly enjoying the content. You made it this far. It's 2024. People don't like to listen to a lot of time. 12-second videos. That's what TikTok has convinced us. Subscribe. Clearly you're here for the content and you're enjoying it. Now let's get started with the news. Alright, so we're going to get out the back and we're going to talk straight away about the two new changes to the rules. Number one, there will be offside automation next year in the Premier League. So for those of you that don't know what I'm talking about, if any of you have ever watched the Champions League, which obviously you have, you've noticed that in the Champions League, yes, there's a linesman running up and down, but the offsides are also semi-automated, meaning there's a almost like a thing that goes around and it tracks where the ball is and it just checks whether a player is offside or not. It's using technology in some kind of Hawkeye system. It's actually very effective, it's super quick, and I think it's got like an accuracy rate of 94%. So the super contagious ones, or whatever the word is going to be checked by the person, but most of them are just going to be super quick. Offside, keep going. And this for me will speed up the game. It will remove the whole, oh my god, this is taking so long, they're drawing a line argument, and fans will at the matches enjoy themselves, people at home will enjoy themselves, and more importantly, I think it will get a lot of people off the referee's back. I always feel sorry for the referee in those situations, you know, because Donny's not making a decision. Like, genuinely, there's a goal, he's waiting to give it or not, he's waiting as much as we are while those muppets in VAR are drawing the lines and doing the geometry. The second rule is the one that I think everyone's going to be interested with. So there's been a vote now with the Premier League clubs, and it states that Chelsea being one of them, by the way, unanimously it was voted that the PSR rules need to change. The Premier League sustainability rules will be changing. The reason being is the clubs don't want to work under the conditions they're working at, and they believe they should be allowed to spend 85% of the revenue they generate. Meaning, the more money you generate, the more you can spend. Common sense. 15% just in case, it's a buffer. Everything else, you spend what you earn. I think this is logical. It also encourages clubs to be more creative in the way that they go and get sponsorships, and encourages them to grow in a nice efficient manner, rather than one year they dump 200 million, then they do nothing, then they dump 300 million, then they do nothing. So it should encourage consistent spending, because the January window was boring. Clubs couldn't spend, they were unsure about what they could do, and it was just causing problems. And I'm not gonna lie to you lot, I think part of the reason we love football so much is the drama that associates with it. 1 minute he's playing for Arsenal, then he's playing for Chelsea, and then there's storylines, the game's beautiful, the players are moving, and it just becomes a global sport, and I love it. The next story comes from Ivan Toney's camp, apparently. So what I find very interesting is Sky Germany is reporting that Ivan Toney is available for 30 to 40 million pounds. I think this is nonsense. And the reason I think this is nonsense is because not so long ago we were seeing stories that Toney's available for 80 million pounds and not penny less. Yes, he's got 12 months left on his deal, and yes, he's 28 years old, so Brentford are going to be very hesitant about, more importantly, like rejecting the bid and then he goes for free. But I don't see it being 30 to 40. So you're telling me Ivan Toney's worth as much as Nicholas Jackson was last summer? I don't see it. Like, think about it that way. Ivan Toney is a proven Premier League goal scorer. Is Ivan Toney my first choice? No. But do I think Ivan Toney's class? I think he's absolutely brilliant. I think his ability to link up play, I think his ability to just be a poacher, his ability to score penalties, his ability to take free kicks, he's good. The only thing he lacks is intensity, and and pace. I think they're the two things that separate him from being absolutely world class to him being a great player, which I think he is. So for me, I don't believe this. I think this is what Brentford are doing. You listen, we're charging him for 30 to 40. Next thing you know, you have 10 people knocking at your door. Hey, we'll take him for that. All of you in the room, so let's get a bit in war. I genuinely think that's what they're trying to ignite the interest to the point where people start pushing it up, and then you get close to the 50-60 mark where I think they will eventually sell. Chelsea Football Club could be looking for a new manager in the summer, and one of the individuals that's been touted to be on the list is Ruben Amorim. And a few days ago, like I said to you guys, there is a chance that Chelsea could hijack it. Pedro from Portugal, the journalist, has reiterated there's a 5% chance. It's not a very big one. Liverpool is the front runner. However, after that, there were massive stories coming out. Like literally stories were coming out that he's met with them, he's had good conversations, his agents had conversations, and that there's been terms agreed. Well, that's not true, according to Ruben Amorim himself. So I don't know whether we believe him or not. Ruben Amorim has come out and literally, religiously said, no, I did not meet with Liverpool. I have not agreed anything. There is no agreement. There was no meeting, basically. And more importantly, this is the big one. I want to win trophies this year and be here for now. I will discuss my future at a later date. We're not going to talk about this anymore. And for me, this is beautifully said. He basically wants to focus on what's important, the cup final against Porto potentially, and then winning the league. He does the double, and then he's ready for his next challenge. Pedro has come out and said after the final game in the league, there will be a statement. Sporting will announce that he's leaving. It will be in a respectful manner. Where he goes, we don't know at this moment in time. So it's one to keep an eye on. I hope it's Chelsea. I don't know. The final part to the story is an interesting one because Chelsea have spent around about 12 million on Angelo, and they spent around about 11 million on André Santos. And both players have gone to Strasbourg, and both have had very different kinds of seasons, right? Angelo went there. Angelo had to acclimatize to the way that the French league is, very physical, powerful, tactical, and playing under Vieira. He went there, he spent a lot of time on the bench, made bench impact, and then he finally broke into the team. And then when Bakwa got fit, who is actually a very good player, Chelsea should be keeping tabs on him considering he's within the Blueco group, moved Angelo to the left-hand side. He basically said, this is my position on the right-hand side, and Angelo moved to the left, and you could really see the different evolutions of his game. Before it was cut in, link up 1-2, chip a pass in. Now Angelo had to go down the byline and cross it in, or come inside and almost play like a number 10. It was very interesting to see how he maneuvered. Vieira confirms he's out for the season. Vieira literally said he's out for the season. We don't know if he's going to be back. For me, he goes back there next year, and Strasbourg try to make a little run to be in the Conference League or the Europa League next year because the talent is there. They just have to keep everyone fit, they have to keep everyone healthy, and they just need to build with this young team. Secondly, André Santos has spoke. Santos has said a few things. He said he feels very lucky and happy to be at Strasbourg. He said the fact that the results are going good now, he's been playing, he's contributed in 3 of the last performances where he started, 2 wins, 1 draw. The mentality is great. He said he started watching Strasbourg as soon as he was linked with the club because he realized it was the best way for him to almost acclimatize as quick as possible because he knew he was with Brazil. So by the time he came back, this is what was going to happen. Then he also spoke about the manager, and he said, look, the manager's a great reference for me. The manager is the reference for me. I need to learn of him and get all the details. And listen, if Santos becomes 50% of the player that Vieira was, he's going to have a great career on his hand. I promise you that. Vieira was top tier. I don't know what he's like as a manager. I've got my doubts. But I know as a player, he was quality. Creme de la creme. The top of the top. That's how good of a midfielder he was. Absolutely an enforcer with great technical ability. Eye for goal every now and then. Not a regular goal scorer, because back in the day, midfielders never used to score that many goals unless you're Frank Lampard. You know, he'll get you to 6. But what I loved about Vieira, he was a leader among men. Like, you could put him in a team with absolute leaders, and he's the one that stood out. And I think that's important. If Santos can learn that from Vieira, you know, just be around him and learn like few points, it'll take him a long way. And what was also nice, he said he's starting to learn the league. He's starting to adjust to the physicality of the league, and this will push him in a good direction for the future. And for me, this is imperative. If he's struggling with the Ligue 1, he's going to struggle with the Prem. So he needs to adapt there. And for me, he needs to go back one more season. As much as I would love him at Chelsea, I don't trust Poch. So if Poch is here, I don't want Poch nowhere near it. This kid needs to play consistent minutes, secure minutes, and then the year after come back to Chelsea. And finally, Vieira also said, what's really nice is we've got healthy competition. And Andre is earning his minutes, and more importantly, he's got great quality. And for me, this was so important for him to say that. The fact that he's got quality on the ball, he's setting tempos, he's actually breaking his way into the team, and it's lovely to see. Like, if you watch him play, he just looks a level above the other midfielders, and that for me is beautiful. And then what he said is, it's time for him now to adapt and mature and become more responsible. He's adapting more physically to the league. And what's nice is, Andre said the same thing. So it's evident that they're having these conversations. It's evident that they're both on the same page. So it is what it is. But Bratuchi, this was the Kavkas View. I'll have you guys some nice stories. I hope you enjoyed it. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. Let me know your thoughts. Peace out, I'm out. By the way, if you want to know why Chelsea could potentially hijack the Amorim deal, the videos here. And if you want the pros and cons on Amorim, videos over here. Enjoy.